Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, that's really good. That's not too bad. Everybody's awake, so now I can read all of this and put you all to sleep, right? Now, I was asked to speak about the Department of Agriculture and about Delaware agriculture in general. So, as Casey will tell you, and the Lieutenant Governor, I can talk for a long time. And I will try not to bore you, but we've got a lot to talk about Delaware agriculture, about what we're doing here in the state of Delaware, and about the Department of Agriculture. You know, it's a pleasure to be with all of you here at the university celebrating Delaware agriculture and the importance of all of our producers. As one of only 19 historically black land-grant institutions, it is key that we keep the land-grant mission in the forefront, because DSU was founded to strengthen research, extension, and teaching in the food and agricultural sciences. The faculty and the staff of the College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology continue to play a critical role in ensuring the latest agricultural research conducted on campus and at the agricultural research centers are shared with the citizens of Delaware through the efforts of cooperative extension. I know we've got a lot of students joining us here over the next 2 days, and I was really impressed when I walked through the door and I saw all of those shirts that said "Farmer in Training." I really hope that's true. You know, we're losing more and more of our producers each and every day across the United States. The average age continues to go up. I know when I was at USDA, the age was at 58, and at one time I was the average age, and now I have surpassed that average age, but it continues to grow up. Fortunately, it didn't catch me or keep growing older as I did. But we need to have more and more producers across the whole United States. Also, I saw some students walk in with some blue jackets, the FFA jackets. The governor and I spent last Thursday and Friday in Indianapolis at the National FFA Convention. 71,000 young people from all over the United States. 71,000. Great young people there to compete. And Delaware did extremely well, I'll have you know. We brought home some golds, we brought home some silvers, we brought home some bronze medals. So for a small state, we did really good. Our FFA students had a great showing at that convention. But 70,000 young people, and unfortunately, they did not get the media coverage that they need. If you look at the media coverage that we see in our cities today with knives and fights and everything that's going on, that makes the news. But what bothers me is there were 71,000 people out there, young people, doing a great work. Not one fight, everybody polite, everybody getting along and having fun. Where was the national media? Where was the national media to cover our great young people? Some people say, you know, we're really concerned about that next generation and the generation of leaders that are going to lead this country. If you just saw what the governor and I saw, you wouldn't have that concern. We've got future leaders right there in the FFA. You know, with over more than 300 career fields involving agriculture, we want to ensure the young people attending DSU become engaged in agri-science, have a good understanding of how food is produced, even if you do not go into production agriculture, and be challenged to think outside of the box, because we need your creativity, skills, and we need the leadership to solve problems such as food insecurity, climate change, combat pests and diseases that impact crops and livestock. And the agenda for this conference promises to provide engaging sessions on diversity, sustainability, technology, and networking to help you find the resources that you need to get started in agriculture or to grow your operation or find your career. At the Delaware Department of Agriculture, we support farmers and consumers alike, sustaining and growing our industry, promoting fresh and seasonal products, and building consumer trust here in the state of Delaware. We have 188 staff members at the department in 13 sections who work daily effectively and efficiently to protect and enhance our environment, our health, and our welfare of the general public. If you haven't had a chance to work with the staff at the Delaware Department of Agriculture, you'll find that we focus on two main areas: serving people and solving problems. Later on today, you'll have a chance to hear from Jimmy Croon, who oversees much of what happens at the day-to-day operations in the department and manages our Ag Lands Preservation section. Jimmy is currently in a meeting of the Ag Lands Preservation Foundation where a young farmer loan application is being presented for funding. We know the hardest thing for a new and beginning farmer is to access capital, and that's why the Young Farmer Program is critical to ensuring that our young people can get their start in the industry. And tomorrow you'll have an opportunity to meet with some of our staff in the appointments and with agencies. But I don't want you to think about this as an appointment. Please think about it as a meet and greet with the staff of the Department of Agriculture. We all work as a team regarding Delaware agriculture and ensuring your success. You'll be able to talk from staff from the Ag Lands Preservation section, the pesticides, and the nutrient management. If you grow fruits and vegetables, we will have information packets for you to take home and review. And finally, our Deputy Principal Assistant, George Class Peters, will be there to talk to you about the Delaware LEAD program, a program that we started back in probably about 2007. This is a 2-year fellowship where you'll develop skills to, within food, fiber, and natural resources industry. If you're a professional working in farming, agribusiness, food, or natural resources section, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to learn through site visits, seminars, expert panels, team activities, workshops, and international study abroad trip. It's a great opportunity. And talk to some of those that have been through our LEAD program. I think you'll find it's something that many of you here will be interested in. You know, Delaware, agriculture is our #1 industry. Just like in most all of the states throughout this great nation of ours, agriculture is #1 industry. It provides nearly 69,000 jobs and nearly $10.3 billion in economic activity, including $1.5 billion in direct sales from our 2,300 family farms. Now think about that. Little Delaware, total economic activity, over $10 billion. Delaware farms produce various agricultural products on 530,000 acres of farmland, or 42% of Delaware's land mass, including corn, soybeans, wheat, poultry, fruits, dairy, vegetables, and nursery stock. In addition, there are other things that I'd like for you to know. Delaware farmers are leading the way growing food, helping the environment, and creating jobs. 99% of our farms here in the state of Delaware are family-owned. More than half of our farms are less than 50 acres. Agriculture is first in the nation, and this statistic really does upset California and Florida, but Delaware is first in the nation in value of agricultural products per acre. #1. Delaware's been producing broiler chickens for 100 years. The modern industry started right here in Ocean View, Delaware, 100 years ago this year. As the state where the broiler industry was founded in 1923, and the fact that Sussex County is the #1 broiler producing county in the entire United States. Kent County ranks number 24th in the United States, and Delaware is proud to recognize the impact that the poultry industry, our farmers, and the allied industry make on Delaware agriculture. Almost all of the corn and soybeans that you see grown here, not only in Delaware but on the Delmarva Peninsula, go for poultry feed. Delmarva Poultry eats more than 89 million bushels of corn and 39 million bushels of soybeans per year. Our family farms contract with one of the 5 main companies here on Delmarva to grow chickens on their farm that are hatched at the company's hatcheries. They raise the birds, and then at the end of the time, the companies come pick those birds up for processing. Delaware has more than 650 commercial poultry farms with 50 million chickens in the state at any given time. As we sit here today, there's 50 million chickens in this state, and there's only 1 million people in the state of Delaware, but we got 50 million chickens. Our family farms grow more than 230 million broiler chickens each year, and several families depend on poultry for work and processing, as well as other fields. The direct impact is $2.7 billion, and the total economic impact by the poultry industry is $4.8 billion. Our farmers, I want to hear another clap now when I get done this one. Our farmers are #1 in the production of lima beans. All right. Delaware raises 25% of all the lima beans grown in the United States. So when you leave here today, go home and eat those lima beans so that we can keep being #1. How's that? We are 8th in the country in watermelon production. We're 10th in the nation in sweet corn production. Now remember, as the governor likes to point out, we're the 49th largest state in the nation. You all got that, right? Okay. We only have 530,000 acres. We rank #1 in lima beans, #8 in watermelons, and #10 in sweet corn production. For a state the size of Delaware, that is a pretty impressive feat. In 2020, the American Farmland Trust ranked Delaware's Ag Land Preservation Program the 2nd most effective farmland preservation program in the entire nation. We announced the 27th round, as the Lieutenant Governor pointed out, last fall, preserving a total now of more than 151,000 acres. That's because of the importance that our governor and governors before Governor Carney and members of our General Assembly, the importance that they have put in protecting and preserving our farmland and our open spaces. It's not just about passing the land down to the next generation, as many believe, but it is also about protecting and preserving those open spaces for future generations, so that our children and our grandchildren can see and do some of the things and have those opportunities that we have had. You know, in Washington, D.C., and Casey, I feel sorry for you. You're detailed back to Washington now. I spent 8 years there, so I know what poor Casey's gone through, and the Deputy Undersecretary. Congress is still working on a farm bill. Now, you know, we all heard on television that that farm bill would be passed last September. Well, that's come and gone. Now it's going to be passed before the first of the year, and I'm telling you right now, that farm bill won't be passed probably until at least February. It has implications for our farmers, our consumers, research and educational institutions and businesses. The Farm Bill sets agriculture, nutrition, conservation, and forestry policy, and it undergoes a reauthorization every 5 years. If you're not in agriculture, you might have heard more about it from the nutrition standpoint, because 85% of that Farm Bill is in nutrition funding. There's a lot on the line because we're not in the same place that we were when this farm bill was passed in 2018. Inflation has caused everything to be more expensive, and most Americans, including farmers, are having a hard time to make ends meet because of the value of a dollar. To give you some perspective about that, in 1933, I know long before any of us were around, although some people, like the governor, say I helped Washington cross to Delaware, Americans spent 22% of their disposable income on food in 1933. 22%. According to the Economic Research Service, Americans spent 4.9% on food at home in 2019. 4.9%. 2022, it increased to 11.3%. We still are the cheapest in the world. Our consumers spend less of their disposable income on food than any other nation in the world. We have the most abundant, safest, and cost-effective food supply to be found anywhere in the world. Our location on the Chesapeake Bay watershed places a lot of importance on conservation, and Casey has been a tremendous help in helping our producers meet the goals and objectives to protect all of our waters. From protecting agricultural land, increasing the adoption of conservation practices, and supporting farm viability, the next generation in agriculture, and new and diverse small farms. We need significant funding to focus on the safety and the security of the food system, improving and protecting our natural resources. We want to ensure that climate-conscious research related to carbon markets and the efforts to standardize these programs across the country are included. And I know at USDA FPAC under Secretary Bonney is working very, very hard to make sure that our farmers are not left out and included, and there's ways that we can be part of the solution, not the problem. When it comes to nutrition, we want to see an increase in funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program for qualified individuals and an increase in funding for our school nutrition programs. A lot of our young people, as many of you know, the one good meal that they get each and every day is at a school. And we want to make sure that we continue to have those programs well funded with the best nutrition possible. You know, there's a saying that once in a lifetime you're going to need a doctor, you're going to need a lawyer, you're going to need a preacher. But every single day, 3 times a day, you're going to need a farmer. We're fortunate to have the safest food supply in the world, but we have a significant issue due to population growth. You know, between now and 2050, the global population is expected to grow. This number changes, but it's somewhere about 9.5 billion people. 1/4 of the 7.5 billion people on Earth today, 1/4 suffer from malnutrition. 1 billion people are chronically hungry. We have to do something. We need our producers in other countries to pitch together to make a difference and have those numbers drop dramatically. Delaware has a long-standing reputation for growing the highest quality and tastiest fruits and vegetables anywhere. Our state's unique and favorable location on the Atlantic coastal plain in the northeast quarter of the United States adds to the impact and the appeal of growing, selling, and buying from Delaware producers. I was someplace not too long ago, and I was making the statements about Delaware being number 10 in the nation in sweet corn, and some lady from out of state piped up, and she said, "And it's the best. I just went to a market," and there were a lot of people from other states there. I thought they were going to mug her, but they said, I had that sweet corn, and it's the best I've ever tasted from any state." It's like, yep, we grow the best here. I've been telling that for a long time. So's Casey, so's Rob and Tally. Our producers produce the very best products. We've got an advantage to shipping more than 1/3 of the nation's population within a day. That's why Delaware's poultry industry is what it is, and that's why our vegetable industry is what it is. You stop and think about it, in 1 day's time, we can ship to almost 1/3 of the nation's population. International and interstate trade is extremely important, but there's a need to build resilience in the middle of the food supply chain to provide more and better markets for all of our producers. The Delaware Council on Farm and Food Policy, and Nico Brady is here, and this is a brainchild of Nico. She started this program. Under the Delaware Department of Agriculture, it was able to create unique opportunities, connect with residents who have not had access to purchase nutritious food in their communities through the Delaware Healthy Food Retail Initiative. We've used the Food Rescue Hero, an app and service currently designed to support food recovery for emergency food distribution, to help close the gap that many stores face, providing free pickup and delivery of fresh local produce from participating Delaware farms to Delaware small markets and markets offering culturally preferred food. This program was piloted in Dover, Harrington, and Farmington successfully. And because of the work that Nico and that Farm and Food Policy Group did during COVID, we were able to make a major difference in the food deserts in this state to get people food that did not have access to it. The team at the Department of Agriculture is committed to helping farmers by participating in USDA's Resilient Food System Infrastructure Program to support and expand capacity for processes like aggregation, processing, manufacturing, storing, transporting, wholesaling, and distribution of locally and regionally produced food products, including specialty crops, dairy, grains for consumption, aquaculture, and other food products other than poultry and meat. And we'll also be able to increase the knowledge and resources for our farmers and communities. These are programs, federal programs, that are being run through the Delaware Department of Agriculture. We're out there to help people who want to get involved in agriculture, who want to expand their operations. That's why we exist. We're there to help. We want everyone to be successful. We need more small producers. We need more middle-sized producers. And a lot of these programs that USDA announced that we're running through the department is going to help get people started or help that small and medium-sized producer expand their business. In the spring of '24, we'll initiate a competitive grant application process to award over $1.1 $1 million. I wish it was $1 billion. Casey, tell them I need $1 billion. $1.1 million in infrastructure and more than $289,000 in equipment grants. Recipients are required to contribute 50% of the total projected cost as a match for the federal funding. However, for historically underserved farmers or other businesses that qualify under Small Business Administration of small disadvantaged, women-owned, or veteran-owned small businesses, that requirement is only a 25% match. So be on the lookout. This program we're going to roll out in the spring of '24. Programs like RFSA help make farming profitable so that producers can remain in business of production food, which is important to all of us here today. In February, the data from the 2022 Census of Agriculture will be released, and the information our farmers provided in census will help local and federal legislators, businesses, and others make informed decisions, especially on federal programs that will directly impact our farms. The information also tells Congress, I lost my place. Tells Congress how much money should be appropriated to Delaware for programs like RFSA. And the reason I lost my place is because I wanted to make a very important point here. When the census comes out, everyone needs to fill it out. And this is a message that I've been trying to promote now for the last 20 years. You need to fill that census out. People don't realize how important that census is to getting federal programs here to the state of Delaware. And I'll give you an example. I got a call from a U.S. Senator up in one of the northern states, so I got to go to the Hill and meet with her. Michael, there's 3 counties in my state that don't qualify for this program, and I want my farmers to qualify for it. Well, the language in the Farm Bill says they don't. And the reason why your farmers in those 3 counties don't qualify for that program, they either did not fill out the census or they filled it out wrong. And that's why your farmers in those 3 counties don't get access to those programs. It makes a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm here to tell you all today is Delaware agriculture is alive. It's doing well. There are a lot of things that we can do better. We can make all kinds of improvements. We need that next generation of producers out there on the farms, helping us meet the goals and objectives of supplying locally and regionally food, as well as helping feed those people around the world who are suffering from malnutrition and underfed each and every day. Working together. There was an undersecretary at USDA, his name was Bill Hawks. He was Undersecretary of Marketing and Regulatory Programs. Bill had a saying, and I asked Bill after I got to USDA, I said, can I borrow your saying? He said, sure. Bill's saying was very simple. It was this: working together works. I want to thank all of you for the opportunity.